Thank you, General. General Campbell.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the Court. The Secretary is attempting to bypass Congress on one of today's most debated policy questions, student loan forgiveness. After many failed legislative efforts, the Secretary seeks to write off nearly $500 billion in loans for over 40 million borrowers. No statute authorizes this sweeping action. On standing, Missouri has the right to vindicate the harms to MOHELA. MOHELA is a state-created and state-controlled public instrumentality that performs the essential public function of providing financial aid to Missouri students. The Secretary's program threatens to cut MOHELA's operating revenue by 40%. That will directly undermine MOHELA's ability to further its critical public purposes, and the state has standing to assert those harms. On the merits, this is a major questions case. A nearly $500 billion debt cancellation program is undoubtedly a matter of vast economic and political significance. It is also unprecedented. Never before has the HEROES Act been used to forgive a single loan. In addition, the Secretary here asserts a breathtaking power to do anything that he thinks might reduce the risk of borrowers defaulting even years after a national emergency arises. He needs clear congressional authorization for such power. But he doesn't have it here because the HEROES Act does not authorize this program. The Act permits the Secretary to waive or modify existing provisions because of a national emergency. It does not permit him to rewrite existing provisions to create a new program that covers 95% of borrowers and applies to them regardless of how the pandemic affected them. This Court should declare this program unlawful, and I welcome the Court's questions.
General, I think at the beginning you should comment some on the relationship between MOHELA and the state of Missouri. Primarily, as you've heard, the effect of this forgiveness program on MOHELA and by extension on the state of Missouri for the, at least to establish standing.
Sure, Justice Thomas. To start with the effect on MOHELA. So MOHELA, approximately as of last fiscal year, 77% of its operating revenue came from servicing direct loans. The Secretary tells us that nearly half of all borrowers' loans will be discharged under this program. So it stands to reason that about half of MOHELA's operating revenue from direct loans will be cut, and overall that amounts to about 40% of its operating revenue. Now, Justice Jackson asked the question about whether there are offsetting fees. It's very hard to believe, and the government doesn't offer any details in its reply brief, that a one-time payment of fees for discharging loans will offset the ongoing fee that MOHELA earns from servicing those loans.